can be comfy. I love this.
Yeah, get comfy. Alright. Hey guys, welcome back to the couch. It's the Thefaelady.
And sorry, and me, Dex.
Okay, like me. We are continuing on in our Kingdom Hearts ChronoOrder. Finished up Snow White, and now we're about to head on to, what is this called? Enchanted Dominion.
This is the land of vine and fire, of dragon's breath and sleeping pyre.
No. I mean, Sleeping Briar would be better.
Oh, dang it. All right.
But I like what you said. It's just like Sleeping Pyre makes it sound like she's about to be like axed, like Return of the Jedi style. Which would be a pretty cool gif if you could do that, where like Sleeping Beauty takes the place of Darth Vader, but then becomes a ghost next to Snow White and Cinderella.
The only downside is that would imply that all the Disney princesses had suffered horribly at the hands of the dark side and died.
Well, I mean, Aurora doesn't have anything else to do. Might as well give her a fun arc. But what I thought was that then the other Disney princesses, the Renaissance princesses, are there sending her off. I mean, literally, Aurora has 16 lines. I believe somebody once did a trivia thing. She has like 16 lines in her entire movie.
Oh, so most of the movie's spent with the villains and the side characters then.
Yeah.
Huh,
yeah.
Wild.
I mean, at least Ariel, who doesn't speak, gets to do stuff.
That's true. She has choreography and like determination actions, whereas like she's got like character action, whereas Aurora's just kind of like the ingenue who dies for most of the story.
Yeah.
She somehow is fridged while being alive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes. Maybe.
We'll talk about that.
We're gonna have to talk about that. That's an interesting concept. Go ahead and start when you're ready.
All right, here we go.
You have permission to land.
This is Aqua coming in for a landing. We got 0.56. I'm seeing no landing lights. Can I get someone in the tower? Over. All right, I guess I'm just gonna walk.
Aqua walks in her mostly flat high-top sneakers the way that I walk in just an inch of heels. Like, clomp, clomp, clomp.
Shoot, that's how I was trained to walk in my boots. Like, that's the thing. They teach you a special way to walk in your boots so that you can be so that you can be comfortable and not roll your ankles.
Yeah, I see that. I have a hard time going heel to toe. My natural inclination is to go toe to heel, which just comes from being younger and knowing that I had Native American ancestry and being really freaking proud of that and wanting to be just like Native Americans.
That makes sense.
You know? I am not any way close enough to claim that, so I'm not trying to say that I am Native American, but it is in my family history. My grandmother actually grew up on an Indian reservation, but that means that I'm 1/32nd. So
it's not something that you can
yeah.
claim.
So I'm not trying to say like, oh, I know exactly what they're talking about, but in the 2nd grade we did a unit on Native American culture, I guess. I'll put that in very wide quotes because I was still very lily white suburban area, but knowing that my grandmother is Lakota Sioux, and it did start like a fun, and Pocahontas came out around the same time, and my mom's from the Williamsburg, Jamestown area, that it kind of hit me at right at the same moment to be really interested in that, you know?
Fair.
But I don't want it to come across like I know that stuff. I don't. So I walk toe to heel to be as quiet as possible, which worked out because I have giant ass clown feet. So I try to, make sure that I'm not clomping around.
There's no way Tara would hurt somebody like that.
You don't believe me? That's unfortunate, for he agreed so easily.
He did?
Ben, don't be fooled.
My God, how is everybody?
Tara would never do that.
I love that.
No,
Ven,
that's
don't be
not-
fooled. And then her voice goes, Tara would never do that.
I know.
Like the jump in quality. I think the voice direction in this was like, it's gonna be for a mobile game. Don't even give a crap.
After all, one
I'm
never
sure they're
knows the
trying
secrets
something.
of
I just
another's
don't know
heart.
if.
I'm sure you'll agree.
Maybe they're trying really hard to channel like the Japanese inflection into into American speech,
The
which
manager sent me.
is very different,
Then
and so it doesn't translate well. They're thinking that maybe we can translate
Tara's not gonna leave yet.
the intentions of the speech better if we leave some of the stuff in the original Japanese, like the inflection.
Yeah.
But that doesn't carry over. You have to almost get someone who on a translator level. You have to
I have to
understand and comprehend how it was said in the
Ben, I
Japanese,
see
and
you
then
too.
create an equivalent line
How do
and
you know about
reading
the
in
Keyblade?
English
A
to make
source
that
of power,
actually carry
a key
through.
that opens the hearts of men, of entire worlds.
Yeah, yeah.
and
I think the
allows one
best-
to obtain
one of the
anything and
best,
everything. Such a power I
at that
find
I've seen some of the best we've seen at that has been Full Metal Alchemist, I think, and
Tara.
Attack on Titan. Those two definitely do a good job of translating the whole field to English.
Now, my dear, would you like to assist me as well?
You also mentioned, I don't know if it was
Never.
in the last
see.
episode or
Xehanort
I
was
think it was in
right.
the last episode
You
that
are
you
a most
you talked about how
stubborn
like
man.
Master
every
Xehanort, how do you...
character,
It seems you
we'll
need
say Final
time to
Fantasy character in the
consider
Disney
my
universe,
offer.
that is Kingdom
Fortunately,
Hearts,
I have the perfect
believes the first person they talk to.
Is a good guy.
Yeah, no, just believes them.
Oh yeah,
Good, bad, any in between. You know, like there's no subtlety in garb. You know
She
exactly
did the superhero landing.
who's good or bad. But
I'm here meditating.
Who are you?
Yeah, I almost mistook you
My
for
name
Luke
is Aqua.
Skywalker the first time seeing
It
him.
looks like I was caught in a trap.
that'd be a good
Why
choice.
are you here?
To prevent me from breaking her evil curse, I was to meet the most beautiful girl at a cottage in the glen.
Do you just
But
know
now
this?
my
This is
true
this
love
like your
lies
fate?
in an eternal slumber.
It was-
No,
And only I can
no.
break
Have
the spell.
have you? It's been a while.
Never.
Never.
Never have I seen. There was too much devil worship. Like the devil was mentioned in this, so it was
You
considered.
can't hit anything on the table.
Oh, sorry.
It'll show up in the mic like huge.
Got it. I'll keep that in mind.
So, no.
The road to true love may be barred
Okay,
by
well,
many more
spoilers
dangers
for
which you
a
alone will have to face.
80-year-old
I'm going
film
with you.
now.
There's
Jeez.
something
80,
I need to
70,
know, and
80-year-old
Maleficent
film.
has the answer.
Yes, of course.
Because I think it
dear.
came out in the 50s.
Now, come on.
Damn.
We must hurry to Aurora.
So you do know the Once Upon a Dream song, right?
Yeah, sort of.
And I've showed you the like, not music video, but like the sing-along version of what's happening during that. That's their first meeting in the woods. It's very cute. Oh my gosh. I will have to show it to you because it's just...
Dang.
It's the only part I knew of, Are you okay? Are you having a conniption?
I accidentally hit no instead of overwrite.
Okay.
I always do that because it's backwards.
I know, I have the same problem if I play, Switch games. I have the same problem going back and
Fire
forth.
dash, slot edge.
Anyway. After that meeting, Aurora, whose name at that moment is Briar Rose, because they changed her name so that she wouldn't think that she was the princess, makes you think where Mother Gothel went wrong. Although, in the movie just a slight Disney tangent for a moment, in the movie Tangled, they never say what the princess's name was. So we do not have any concept of, like, does Rapunzel have a different name? Does she have to, like, constantly correct people? Like, no, my name's Rapunzel. But, like, because we only hear, like, it's for the lost princess.
I think
But
that's...
since Mother Gothel wasn't smart enough to tell her that her birthday was literally any other day, maybe she just kept the same name. I haven't watched the Ever After series, by the way, so if people go in the comments and be like, they actually talk about this in the series, it's on my to-do list, but I just haven't gotten around to it, so I just wanted to put that out there.
Cool.
Now your turn.
Now it's now my turn to talk.
Ooh,
Wow,
not my turn.
I'm so graced with privilege.
Okay, don't say stuff like that. People will take you seriously. People will think that you actually are like, oh, really? It's my turn to talk?
Fair.
Gosh. Do you know what the crow's name is?
Oh God, I remember it from the actual like Maleficent.
You've seen Maleficent, but you haven't seen the one that it's
Okay,
referencing?
listen, there's a lot of things I'm not proud of.
You're bad and you should feel bad. Diablo.
Gotcha. Can we talk about how like this is like one of the few times you actually have a pal in these games? In this,
Like,
in
oh
this
right,
game?
this is a Kingdom Hearts movie. This is a Kingdom Hearts game. You're supposed to have Disney pals to fight with. Oh, don't worry, he's gonna die real fast, just like in every other Kingdom Hearts game. But a bunch.
Indeed. Pirouette of power!
Oh my god, I still haven't gotten through the actual Cinderella, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty. I get them confused sometimes because they're all basically the same story. Don't at me. So they make a deal. Briar Rose is like, come by the, you know, the cottage in the woods? It's obviously the only cottage in the woods because, like, who else would live there? Whatever. And say, come meet me there tonight. Meanwhile, that's the same day that her fairy step-parents decide to tell her that, by the way, you're the princess, and we've just been hiding you so that you wouldn't die on your 16th birthday, which is today, and so we're going to take you back to the castle so that you can be the princess again. And so they leave. The crow overhears that part of the conversation, tells Maleficent, so Maleficent sets up a trap.
Oh no, I pressed the wrong button.
And doesn't end up getting Aurora, or the, I don't know if she was trying to get Aurora or she's trying to get the godparent, the fairies or not, but anyway, that part I don't remember very well, but ends up catching Prince Philip. Which, BTW, first of the Prince Charmings to have a name.
Oh.
He also has what I think is one of the best lines in the movie. Like, he says something on the, it's like, Father, it's the 14th century.
Oh my god.
As in, like, it's modern times, get with the times, pops.
That is amazing. Okay, not the way I want to go. I'm gonna get so lost here. Oh, Jesus.
Well, it's really easy when everything just looks like dark gray stone, and
Yeah.
it's 1,000,000 miles high.
It's almost like Dungeons and Towers don't make for entertaining games.
Yeah, tell me about it. Having designed several just random ruins for D&D games.
It's almost like you have to like put like a weird gimmick in all of them to make
Yeah.
them feel like worth venturing into.
That's why I legit want those table tokens, I think they're called, that are just
Oh, I remember what
plastic.
this is.
No, that's the same way you just went.
I know, but I fell
Okay.
down. I was trying to get across to get the chest,
Oh.
and I screwed it up.
Is this like in Aladdin, where like if you fall, then you have to go all the way through the Cave of Wonders again?
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
Crap.
Just earlier in the game.
But those table tokens are like, oh, I see what you mean. Those table tokens, they're like trees and campsite stuff, things, incidentals that would populate the like 10 by 5 room
I feel you.
that are plastic, so you can just like plop them down on your Chessex.
Yeah.
And I really want that because we know I don't draw.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I have that skill, so like I can do this shit. Here's why this room is so big and like. Oh wait, what?
You just came back the same way you went.
What the shit?
But you didn't. But you did. So you ended up coming all the way around again. I think you're just supposed to.
There's
like,
supposed to
GTFO.
be. Yeah, I guess so. There. Oh, it's Ven's story. Ven's story. This room has a bunch of walls that pull up out of the ground, and like
Gotcha.
it's a maze that you don't know what it looks like.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, because this is where you fell down. So
Yeah,
don't do
so
it.
That's the downfall.
So don't do it.
That's the darkness.
No, that's twice now. Team up with Prince Philip. Open the gates and escape.
That's 3 instructions. I don't think you prepared me for this level of competency.
I believe in you.
All right, let's do it.
All you have to do is believe in me and believe in the me that
Don't
believes
believe in
you.
yourself, Simone. Believe in the communa who believes in you.
Dang, you know what? That's what I need to tell myself when I decide, yeah, I'm gonna exercise. I don't need to believe in me. I need to believe in the Dex that believes in me.
That's how you do it, babe.
Or believe in the future me that believes in me. The
Believe
one
in
that
the you who
already
will believe in.
likes exercising. I don't think I'll ever actually like exercising, but I think that I'll tolerate it enough. Maybe it'll be like that jujitsu guy. I'll just accept that I'm gonna be in pain forever until I die.
Oh yeah. That's right. Oh man.
That's your story. I don't. You can't tell it. It's just perfect.
Right. That's that. But that. Yeah. Like. I'm gonna try to keep my stories about the deserts out of here.
I didn't.
Why do I gotta do multiple different button presses for that? You just gotta toss me. Toss me.
That is interesting. Are they trying to teach you something that'll come up later?
Yes.
Like.
But only in
pre-timed-
Aqua's story.
Oh. That's weird. All right. You're firing at nothing, ma'am.
I know.
I know. It's
Why-
just
why did you
because they
come
wouldn't
now?
Yeah. You can't populate that then.
It's so stupid. That's one of those things that I feel like they could have done some QOL for, you know?
What's the O?
Quality of life.
Okay. I knew what the Q and the L was. I just didn't figure out why there was something in the middle.
Like, they could really have done some quality of life on this stuff when they upgraded it. Like, I keep talking about the Mass Effect remaster because, like, I'm excited for it, but also because, like, that's one of the things, like, this game was, this re-release of this stuff, because that's all it really is, re-release with 60 FPS capability. But, did I just knock that back? Nice. The Mass Effect one and this one were both released as, hey, remember the old games? Play them so you can remember what's going on, because the next Mass Effect is rumored to be a direct follow-up to 3 instead of being a follow-up to Andromeda.
Because nobody liked that one for stupid reasons.
We all agree that there was some cool stuff about it, and it's a shame that EA kind of did it dirty.
Yeah. I know that you like it, which is why I say stupid reasons, because I don't want people to be
Well-
like, well, it sucks.
It's the same reasons that people don't like Cyberpunk right now, which is, you know, I'll be honest, I enjoyed the game. It's worth $60, so I don't mind it. Like, yeah, it was hyped up, but like, look, I wasn't taking part in that hype specifically because I knew it was getting really overhyped. Like, I played Witcher 3. I knew what it was like at launch. I knew that it was rough in bits.
People who get upset at hype really should just turn that anger back at themselves because they let expectation run away with them.
Yeah, they did. But like, at this point though, like, what's like?
I think I'm gonna have to go back to. I think you told me this story of like.
Forgot that I had some sliding dashes and quick blitzes.
Dan in Green Grump said of like. Even something that's bad, like the amount of work and effort that it has, that you have to put into it, counts. Like,
Yeah.
so like even if a game is bad, you have to imagine that somebody had to put several hours. So if it's glitchy, maybe get, and this is really what I'm leading up to, is stop getting mad at the game and start getting mad at the people that aren't the game developers.
You're talking the people who made this what had to be released.
Who decided that it was an arbitrary deadline that they couldn't meet, so that you have to crunch, but then you're not given a union to protect you from crunch. Get mad at that.
Yeah.
That's the actual problem.
Yeah,
you know?
and but like there's a big problem with a lot of the gaming culture being particularly entitled. Like,
I understand that because
we speaking for gamers who will not be willing to say such, have this expectation that the gaming design and creation world is going to serve us hand over foot just because we are its customers and it's somehow the customer's always right. And at the same time, we will still unironically make fun of people who do the same, who like hold that same attitude towards the service industry.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I don't know where that change occurred, but it's somewhere around our generation and maybe a little bit above us, a little bit below us. That still is the case, but
Yeah.
it's not 100%, because you'll see other gamers who actually have relatively healthy attitudes about the whole thing. You don't even have to look for like the shining stars. You just gotta find something that's out there among them. Like,
Yeah.
and there's enough of that, because not enough. There's enough of it that there's a clear distinction to make, but there's not enough that it redeems the whole industry. Not yet, because that change needs to come to such a degree that the higher ups see it as necessary.
Or rather, in my mind, the higher ups see it as a deficit if they don't follow
That's
change.
explicitly where I was going with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, edit Dex. Cura's done. Swap all this out. Put in.
I know you said Cura, but I heard Kira, so like my first thought was Death Note. Like, what?
I'm coming for you.
Meanwhile, I was listening, but the minute that you entered this very nice woodland, all I could think was back to the opening when, she's walking through the desolate area, and I'm like, Aqua, Aqua, Aqua. You presumably surveyed this planet to look for a good place to land, and you decided that not the nice green pasture. Oh, no. Let's land in the dark, desolate kingdom.
I just realized I've got double jump now.
You got double jump
Well,
now?
high jump specifically. Let me go ahead and... There we go. High jump.
Ooh, backflip high jump.
Yeah.
A flower.
Yeah.
You can call me Flower if he wants to.
Oh, baby. Yes.
Now that we single-handedly upset a lot of gamers, do you want to talk about Joss Whedon?
Oh God, I'm done. The thing is, like, it's like saying entitlement. Like, I bet there'd be a lot of people who wouldn't realize that they were the people that I'm referring to. Also, because I feel entitled sometimes.
Well, and that's it too. Like, I'm not trying to sound hypocritical. Like, the other day, our internet router went down, and I couldn't fix it. And, like, so internet was taking a long time to load on my laptop. And I was desperately trying to pace myself away from a connection. Which is ridiculous, because I remember when dial-up was the only internet we had, and things took forever to load. So how is it in the 30 years of my life, I have, gone from, oh yeah, no, this is an appropriate speed, to, God damn it, if I can't have it instantaneously, is it gonna be worth it?
Yeah. As a side note, going back to what I was saying about, oh no, not the Forest of Thorns. Going back to what I was saying about the how the Final Fantasy characters speak and like their inflections are weird. Noticeably, Maleficent's are not. Maleficent is spoken correctly. I think specifically because they got someone who's really good at mimicking the original actress. Potentially for both this version and the Japanese version. I don't know about that for sure for the Japanese version. I would assume because Kingdom Hearts is subscribing to Disney's got a program specifically for voice acting that like if you need to represent one of their characters in any way and you are signed on with them, they will get you the original or the closest possible representation whenever possible. So like it's why like for instance in the entry of the Kingdom Hearts series where Woody shows up, he's voiced by Tom Hanks' brother. So like
yeah.
And like it's impressive.
Oh god, I'm having Kingdom Hearts 1 flashbacks. Not in a fun way.
It's fine.
So yeah, do you want to fight this dragon and talk about Joss Whedon?
Totes.
So...
Oh, behind him. That's right.
I was on BuzzFeed when I saw an article that said stars are coming to support Charisma Carpenter with her allegations against Joss Whedon. I was like, oh, okay. Wow. This is very apt because in our previous episode we started talking about how problematic faves, and I said, well, we really shouldn't talk about that unless we have some news, right? Like, not like it has to be in the news, but we have to have a way of talking about it. We can't just talk out of our butts.
Yeah.
We have to be informed. That's the words I'm looking for. So, dang. Selfless prince. 7.
What should happen if she had actually let me finish that move is that I get a bunch of extra stuff for that.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I was making a semi-obscure podcast reference. But anyway, so I read the article, and turns out Charisma Carpenter on her Twitter just laid forth her truth in a response to WB ending their investigation into allegations that Ray Fisher made in July on Joss Whedon. Ray Fisher being the actor who plays Cyborg in the Justice League. And so I had to
I do recall something about that.
Yeah, I had to find that article first, kind of read my way backwards. But so Ray Fisher called.
No.
I want to get his words right. Made
All together, now sword of truth fly swift and sure, that evil die and good endure.
about Joss Whedon's conduct on set. In particular, he called it the treatment of the cast and crew as gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. Which, like, also dang, because he was brought in to replace Zack Snyder.
That's impressive to outdo Zack Snyder.
You know.
I will not be defeated by something
Anyway,
as
so
insignificant as love.
Warner Brothers Media took the allegations seriously and did their own investigation into it, but not before the DC Entertainment president and CCO calling Fisher into his office to be, quote, belittle and admonish Fisher's attempts to take grievances up the proper chain of command, which, like, those words are such triggering words, because, like, I wish you, like, the idea of, I wish you had taken this up the proper chain is just a way of people in power, and by people I do mean mostly white, mostly men, you know, up the chain just means so that I could have hidden it away before, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's an exact reason why he didn't take it up the chain.
Likely because he didn't trust that they would do it well. I mean, shit.
I mean, dang it.
I mean, this article in Variety says that Whedon's behavior was that Fisher going on to claim that his behavior was enabled by
Where's he going?
the same person who pulled him into his office. So, at the...
Makes sense, shoot.
Yeah. Warner Brothers recently concluded their investigation saying, quote, remedial action has been taken. Which could mean anything. And neither any article that I've seen is talking about that, and quite frankly I'm okay with that, because like that's not really where the conversation needs to be about. The fact that it doesn't really matter what Warner Brothers decides to do unless they decide to like work with him again.
Yeah, because that's the thing, like what Warner Brothers, unlike a government organization, doesn't have legal rights to punish aside from what they contract Joss out for.
That's what I was gonna say. Like if the remedial action, like, it doesn't sound like a condoning,
No.
but it doesn't sound like a condemning either.
It's like almost virtue signaling.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
and unless that action
I'm
cuts
terribly sorry
into
to bother you, sir.
the perpetrator's bottom line,
I'd be pleased
how
to help you if I can.
constructive, I guess. How constructive is that action going to be? Now, granted, I don't want to go down that side lane, because
I think I know just
my
who you're
conversation that I
talking
want to
about.
have is about Joss Whedon, because we brought it up before, and
Thank
anyway,
you so much.
Charisma Carpenter then today came out with her own
I hope you're
allegations
still there.
that Whedon was quote, abused his power on numerous occasions on the set of Buffy and Angel. Her particular allegations were while she was pregnant, which, you know, I'm a fan of Buffy and Angel. She was pregnant. They had to change the storyline around at the midway through the 4th season
Right.
because of her pregnancy, which isn't that big a deal because it happens, and it becomes even shittier when you read some of this article. So he like would call her fat.
Why?
Asked her in a closed door meeting if she was going to, quote, keep it.
What the?
Yeah. And then fired her with no, like, when the season 4 was over, her character was put in a coma. And she came back for a 100th episode in season 5, but that was it. Apparently she was, like, unceremoniously fired
That's some
after
bull.
giving birth.
What I like least about that is it feels like the kind of thing you would expect almost from producers of the time, which is disappointing. Which is disappointing on another level, specifically because of how Joss Whedon is received by a lot of people who really enjoy his work, who to like what you would what we used to call Whedonites. Like,
well, of the time we're talking about, like, Buffy ended in 2003 and Angel ended in 2004. So, of the time, like, that's not that long ago. We're not talking about, like, the 70s
I know,
or something.
I know,
so...
but, like, if you listen to, like, the stuff that people, like, just, like, 2 or 3 years prior were saying about women, like, it's, like, there's still, like, there's a disconnect, like, between how respectful we are now versus how, like, callous and crude we were back then.
And how much further we have to go.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the fact that back then isn't that long ago,
no,
I guess
yeah.
is the point that I'm making, that, like...
Well, like, and the same thing could easily be said about, like, just injustice period, like, considering that, like, the civil rights movement happened in, like, in the 60s. Like, happy Black History Month, by the by. Like, the civil rights movement happened in the 60s, which is less than a century ago. And, like, it's only just now that we've, like, we haven't even really put nearly enough effort into resolving what we've done, because, like, there's still a significant level of intolerance that is clearly visible in not just in society, not just in, like, our society, but our society is definitely, it's very prevalent.
Yeah, let's say globally.
Yeah, but, like,
yeah, go ahead.
but like we are Americans, so like as most of our internal what's the word? Internal critics will speak. Like, our priority is to fix our own problems first, but, you know, we gotta actually, like, put some effort towards that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add, because I don't feel like again, like I said about Joss Whedon before, I'm not well enough informed, and I certainly am not well enough informed on Black history and the civil rights and all that needs to happen. If people want to be informed, there are places to go, and you can certainly read up on that, and that's one of my personal goals, but it's not something that I feel like I can talk about this particular time.
It doesn't apply
without sounding
yeah, that's fair.
like
Some people trying to, like, get some credit off of, like,
yeah.
no, that's fair, but
when it comes to, like, feminism, which, you know, Joss Whedon
claims to very much be.
Claims to be a feminist, and again, as we alluded to in our previous conversation about him, this is not something that we're suddenly aware of. We're aware that he is problematic, and I wouldn't call him a problematic fave because I don't consider him a fave anymore. I certainly did. I certainly really loved everything that he did, I think that these facts will kind of migrate into a conversation about the appropriateness of being a fan of problematic things, but I just want to get the facts out first, I guess.
We got more?
Well, then, what I also read was that after she posted that on Twitter, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Amber Benson and Michelle Trachtenberg, who Sarah Michelle Gellar was Buffy, and in her comment regarding it, she said, "I'm always happy to have my name associated with Buffy Summers, but I hate that my name has still connected with Joss Whedon," which I thought was a very nice sentiment. But she refused to comment any further because I think very wisely, like, again, it's not her story. I think everyone just wants to hear, like, was there something? And it's like, maybe there was, maybe there wasn't, but...
She's not talking about it.
Yeah. Michelle Trachtenberg, who played Dawn, is definitely, definitely confirming the allegations in a way, because her response to Sarah Michelle Gellar's was, "We know what he did behind the scenes." So, like, you know.
Yeah.
And she was a teenager on the set of Buffy. I think she was 14 or 15 years old in season 5 when her character was introduced. So, and Amber Benson played Tara, and she also, you know, talked about the toxic environment that was the set, which I think that as a fan of Buffy and Angel, and that's really disheartening because it was such a fun show for me to watch and experience and be a fan of. I think that's the part that really starts to become uncomfortable and upsetting as a fan, because, and I think that's why people, in my opinion, make the wrong choice, but I can see why they make the choice to, like, try to deny that, because they feel like that somehow makes them culpable. And I think that denial is what makes you more culpable, because you're not saying, like, this is a thing, you know?
Yeah, the thing is, especially when there's, like, there's, like, multiple witnesses to a situation, like, to some degree, as much as wrong, like, even though it doesn't feel right, it feels like you should be trying to, like, listen to the story, like, and like, actually, like, consider, like, alright, maybe, like, I should consider this person has to say, but it's just the one person, we don't have any other evidence. Like, I can understand to a small degree that.
Yeah,
but,
I consider those people wrong, but I can understand it.
But, like, but the thing is, like, I can at least understand that sentiment. Like, I want more details.
Yeah.
Like, and I want it to come from more than just the one person.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, when you have multiple corroborating witnesses, like in a case like this, where multiple people have come out and said this was a thing, then
And not just in one
production,
place,
but, like,
yeah.
in multiple productions. It's a very clear definition of character.
Because, you know, I was first made aware in 2017 when his wife wrote
Talked
a
about his,
blog and talked about his affairs and how it's really disheartening and upsetting to her that he is considered to be so progressive when he is
Part of the very...
in his private life, is what it made it sound like. In his private life he wasn't, right? In his public life he likes to take advantage of seeming that way, but and you know, it's when it first introduced to me this concept of nice guys, which, to kind of break some humor into the situation, the idea of nice guys really, and that, you know, version of quote-unquote nice guys really made me feel better, because at that point I was starting to question whether I really hated men, like, in general. I was like, man, I must just hate men. I must be a terrible person. I have nothing nice to say about men. And then in reading more about nice guys and how, you know, they act a certain way to gain points. I'll say for well-meaning nice guys, they act a certain way because society's told them that's how they get ahead, and then they don't understand why they aren't just being given things because they think that it's owed to them. And for more insidious nice guys, they're acting that way because they know that it'll get them into certain circles and it will let the guard down the people that they want to victimize, you know?
Yeah.
And that made me feel a little bit more vindicated. It's like, no, I don't hate guys. I am just tired of a double standard where they get to be mediocre and I have to try my hardest to get a little bit ahead. And that every time I think that I understand, the rules change, you know?
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that's the recent, and that certainly isn't all of it. I'm sure that there'll be more to come out, but that's the most recent, and I felt like we needed to address that since we talked about it, and I didn't want to make it sound like, oh no, we'll talk about that later, in a, like, because I don't want to talk about it kind of thing. Because I don't want to create uninformed opinions based on what my gut says versus what truth says, because whether or not our platform is small or large, it is a platform, and as a human being, we have responsibilities to it. So I didn't want to talk about a subject without reading some more on it.
Yeah, it's fair. I have a bad habit of just running my mouth regardless.
I do too, and I'm trying really hard. I feel like in private life, I can do that because when I'm speaking to people in my private life, they know who I am, they know what my intentions are. But this is not private life, this is public life. And as much as I want this to be a really nice community, to pretend that I can talk on this channel in the same way that I would talk, to my close friends and family it's an illusion, you know. Parasocial relationships go both ways, and I can't just pretend that, people listening are just my friends, because they're not,
Yeah.
They're my audience, and I hold a responsibility to them, and part of that responsibility is to make sure that things that I say are as accurate as possible. And that when I'm giving my opinion, I state it as opinion.
Fair.
That's all. Which we're about to segue into, because I don't know facts for this, but I don't really have an opinion yet. I'm trying to form one, and I just kind of want to talk it out loud, and I think that you and I can kind of talk it out, maybe come up with a good opinion, or at least a working theory. Let's call it that. A working theory until other information is brought to light. So, in reading this recent news, our previous conversation talked about how Joss Whedon was heading this show on HBO called The Nevers. It's a Victorian fantasy, which hits a lot of checkpoints for me because I love historical fiction, I love fantasy, I love pretty dresses, and I am a fan of previous Joss Whedon work, so I know that I like his style of writing, which, is what it is. So, one kind of good thing is that he stepped down in November from the project, so the project is moving forward as far as I can tell, but not with him in it. So I guess that's kind of a bullet dodge for in some way, because he will not be directly involved or responsible for the show. But I guess my question is, how do you feel about problematic faves? Past, present, or future productions, and what our responsibility as consumers of media is. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, so I'm just kind of trying to workshop it.
I've told you about how I feel about let's say Borderlands, for instance.
Yeah, that's actually a really good example for you. So give some background.
So Randy Pitchford's a piece of crap. Let's go ahead and make that the opening statement, right?
Should we say that he's allegedly a piece of crap, or in your opinion is a piece of crap?
I mean, listen,
when you're the head of like a game studio, if you can't take this kind of a statement, then it speaks very poorly of your quality as a person.
All right.
Like it's
Speak your piece. You have the mic.
so the things he did was a little bit of background, right? The voice actor for Claptrap has had this run with Mr. Pitchford, in which he alleged that what Pitchford did was he grabbed him in the crotch, made some uncomfortable remarks, and then proceeded to like write it off as like it was nothing.
Jeez.
And then when the voice actor came out and said this, Mr. Pitchford said, "Oh, shut up, you liked it."
Oh, jeez.
Like, and then this was this all came out because like there was a separate spat first, right? Because this came out because the voice actor for Claptrap was a little disappointed that he wasn't gonna. He liked the character that he was voicing, but he wasn't gonna get to voice him because 2K replaced him. Gearbox 2K replaced him.
The publisher.
Yeah. So like they replaced him with just like someone who was cheaper and easier like that. They did that with a lot of the voice actors actually. Like there's not too noticeable a difference between, as what I understand, between the old Claptrap and the new Claptrap's voice. But like knowing that this went on behind the scenes has a heavy dose of Singing in the Rain. You know, and Mr. Pitchford included within a follow-up for a follow-up DLC for Borderlands 2, wherein the bridge is gapped, the gap is bridged between Borderlands 2 and 3. Basically, a Claptrap comes crawling back to us kind of storyline as a side mission with the new voice actor, like some kind of deranged beg for it, you little shit.
Yeah.
Like,
and this is it's disturbing on itself, but it's also really upsetting because this is a franchise that you really enjoyed playing, particularly co-op with your brother.
It's like the games. Look, the games are not like groundbreaking. They are games.
You like what you like.
They rank up there with like Call of Duty, where like it's factory production line stuff. There's spirit to the Borderlands series, but it's nothing to write home about. The fun of it is how well it plays with two people, because you can actually play it couch co-op. That was the cool thing. I play with my brother all the time, like you said. The issue is now though, Mr. Pitchford is still on board at Gearbox after all these remarks, and even if the allegations about all of this are incorrect, the manner in which he responded is terrible.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like that's my actual reasoning. Like all this stuff beforehand is effectively because there was no investigation done. There was no actual like. I think there were lawsuits that went on, but they were settled quietly behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like effectively. If Pitchford had handled himself in a mature and responsible manner, I could potentially overlook this as well. This may be that the voice actor is just being salty that they didn't call him back for the role, or even the voice actor is salty because they effectively went with the cheaper option and said, we don't want to pay your full price, which, I mean, sucks.
That might be true to one part of the allegation, but the other part is, and I am one who believes victims first. Even if he had apologized in a, like, I did not realize what I was doing was upsetting kind of way, you know?
But, like, but to that degree, though, for that kind of a thing,
that would at least be a step in the right direction, and there's still more to go there. There's still more he would have to do.
Yeah.
But he wasn't willing to take even that step.
Yeah.
That's like the bare minimum. A good apology is a bare minimum.
It is, but it's the right step that says I'm trying to be better.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Mr. Pitchford was.
Where are you supposed to be going?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm delaying because the next bit's like a little bit of a story spoiler that like explains some stuff, and I didn't want to like. I don't want us
to chat over it.
I didn't want us to chat over it.
Okay.
Mostly for your sake, because this is kind of like. Why is this person on this island, and why is this is like this next sequence is like just so much lore.
This conversation can have a pin in it, but also, so you have just to kind of wrap up the Borderlands conversation. That is the smaller portion of this wider conversation, because we are almost at time anyway, so it'd be good to end with the cutscene. But you haven't bought Borderlands 3 for that reason, correct?
Explicitly that reason.
Yeah.
I hate it because I watched my buddy play it when on a recent extended work trip, and I'm not gonna talk about that stuff.
That's fine.
And it looked really cool, and I would love to play it, but I can't in good faith support the company. And I'm not gonna pirate it because that ain't me. So like, I would want to know that like that we are not reinforcing this attitude of disregard for the people who have suffered at the hands of sexual abuse, assaults. What's the other one that's less so but still an important thing?
Harassment. And regardless of whether it's sexual in nature, if it's like homophobic in nature, transphobic in nature, any time where somebody is using
their position of power to make someone else uncomfortable, and like it's that general like almost tyranny is and like the thing is like like part of the reason why the way that Pitchford responded annoys me is because it's that same kind of attitude where like, oh, SJWs are ruining the world. Like, it's like, buddy, like, look, social justice has always been. You can't
tell a good joke anymore.
Social justice has always been a thing. It's called the court of public opinion. It's always existed, and it's what's defined society forever. Since when we were banging sticks on walls, like it's.
Well, it's like you and I have had the conversation of, yes, okay, you have the quote-unquote right of free speech, but that doesn't mean that it's without consequence.
Yeah,
it means that the government's not going to have consequence against you, but that doesn't mean that like people aren't allowed to.
The thing is,
tell you that you're wrong.
The government's job is not to enforce your opinion. The government's job is to enable you to have it. But once you have your opinion, if your opinion is that all cats must die, and you start to act on that crap, then
cat lovers are allowed to come at you.
Yeah, like first with words, and then if you actually threaten the livelihood of cat lovers and cats, then they can start to escalate the situation because if your actions are violent, then violent action is an expected response within our country.
There's a really good documentary on Netflix called Don't F with Cats. And it's a true crime documentary, and if you like true crime and you like cats, it can be graphic, so be careful, but also it's kind of the things that people will go for their love. So, no, go the other way, towards the cutscene.
I'm trying to find more stuff because I just... it's fine.
No, I thought you were done.
I slotted in some new stuff. I should actually swap out for... let me make a Curaga real quick.
Okay. I just feel like we've exhausted that conversation for right now.
It's
an ongoing one. It's not like, and also our conversation is only a dialogue right now. I don't know if there's a word for two people talking versus a group of people talking.
Dialogue, yeah. Whereas if it were like a forum, then
Yeah, we
that's the
we have a place for forums, so politely, respectfully, and really just coherently give us your opinion. Especially if you have like further links or information or stuff like that.
because I'm uneducated as all heckin' crap.
Well, it has nothing to do with uneducatedness because I consider myself a very educated person, but the part of me that is Socratic enough to know that I know nothing knows that that can only be filled, you know. I am a cup that can be runneth over with knowledge, so, you know, the only way that works is if I have more information to feed the beast. So, let's end with a cutscene, and then, oh, I thought a child was gonna get hurt. Oh no, a child is gonna get hurt!
Do you recognize that little redhead?
Little redhead? Yes, I do. Save me! Blue
I
lady?
can feel the light.
Who said that?
Aqua.
Oh.
What do you mean no way you could...
Mickey! Holy moly, I need that keyblade.
What is it called? Wishing Star? I think it's called Wishing Star.
I love it.
Why do you have a keyblade?
I'll tell you later. Right now, we gotta stop.
Wishing Star supposedly has a really nice reach. Like, it's got, like... It is the long arm of the light. You know?
It is really nice.
Okay, I moved her down the steps.
I took her 2 steps down.
Told her to hide
So-
because these things are only surrounding us.
Right.
I think everyone but Terra forges a D-Link with Mickey at some point.
Heck yeah, look at those angry eyebrows.
Listen! I'm here to beat a guy to the ground!
And chew bubblegum!
I'm all out of bubblegum!
Oh man. But then look at his profile pic for...
Hello, I'm Mickey!
I know, right? He
It's
looks
like-
like, welcome!
I that's that, like,
It's
going
just
that
so
high pitch is going to get grating, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Not on my voice, but, like, on whoever is listening to this. That's going to
That's
be
true,
annoying.
that's true. That's okay. Just don't do the, like, super peaks. You're fine. Oh no! The birds! I hate flying creatures in Kingdom Hearts. They are the worst.
Good idea.
Do you? Oh yeah, you need to use that magnet on them. Oh. Well, maybe if you could jump up that high. See? Oh! Burst of faith! When you wish upon a star.
Oh, we finished with the burst of faith.
I
Oh.
love that. That never gets old for me when I'm able to do like a special something and then
That's satisfactory.
Thank you. My name is Aqua. I train under Master Ericus.
And I'm Mickey. I used to be.
I
Yen
trained
Sid's
under Master
apprentice.
Isn't
I came back to him for some more training.
Yen Sid, same thing.
Oh my gosh, Yensid is Disney.
Yeah, that's why they named it. Oh boy. Yeah, it's the same
Oh,
thing.
jeez.
That's probably why they made it Master Ericus, because
Oh,
Yen Sid makes it
Yensid.
quote unquote canonical within the universe.
Oh my god.
Look at those eyelashes!
That's how you know she's a future protagonist. I mean, you know, I'm sorry. I can't stop. Like, mashing the scroller.
I'll be okay.
Well,
I'll be okay. This is totally fine. Ignore.
this happens to me all the time! For reasons that I won't explain.
Basically, Mickey is a force of fate in this game. Only in this game. Every other game, he's just kind of like...
Are these for me?
No, I'm just
Elsa.
showing you the flowers I picked.
Thank you for saving me.
You did not pick them for her, you little girl.
they're
You had them
lovely.
beforehand.
You're so sweet.
We know you did.
You're just
My
giving
name's
them to
Kyrie.
her.
Nice to meet you.
Kyrie! Oh, and she does the, like, bend over,
Kyrie, about
like,
that light.
thing. Did you see that? Like, she'll do that in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Wait, Kyrie, just a minute. I just cast a magic spell on you.
Why would you tell me
One
that?
day when you're in trouble, the light within you will lead you to the light of another. Someone to keep you safe.
Thanks.
I don't know what any of that means. I'm probably gonna forget it.
You know what's great?
Okay, bye!
You know what's great? Like, there is a,
Bye.
like, the size of their feet.
Grandma,
Grandma.
What is it?
could you tell me that story?
Can you do some world building for me, Grandma?
Please.
Very well then. Long ago, people lived in peace, bathed in the warmth of light. Everyone loved the light.
Who doesn't?
Then, people began to fight over it.
Who doesn't?
They wanted to keep it for themselves. And darkness was born in their hearts.
Kind of metaphorically, like this cloud covering the
Darkness
sun.
spread.
And this
Sun
smog
light
also
in
covering the
people's
sun.
hearts.
That smog comes from the oven factories.
The world disappeared.
They don't manufacture ovens there. They just use them.
Small fragments of light survived
Like 2
in
stars.
the hearts of children. With these fragments of light, children rebuilt the lost world.
Aqua's just like low-key
It's the world we
eavesdropping.
live in now.
Huh.
But
This lady
true
knows,
light
like,
sleeps
everything.
Deep within the darkness. That's why the worlds are still scattered, divided from each other.
This is some
But
wild
someday,
stuff.
a door to the
Not
innermost
because like
darkness
it's
will
like
open,
this is a
and
new
the
concept.
true light
Aqua
will
clearly knows
return.
this.
Yeah.
So listen.
But because this grandma knows
Even
this.
in the deepest darkness, there will always be a light to guide you. Believe in the light, and the darkness will never defeat you.
Thank you, Grandma Exposition.
Shine with its power and push the darkness away.
Now, darling, you know me. You can just
Okay.
call me Grandma.
Kyrie, something tells me I didn't run into her by accident.
Yeah, you had to hear all that stuff.
Yeah. And we'll be back next time.
Oh no,
Unversed. It
we'll be
never
chasing that.
Come at me.
All right, let's get started, boy.
All right. So yeah, we'll teach Daniel how to not make huge ass knocking sounds right next to the microphone.
You're absolutely right.
Next time on the couch.
You're absolutely right.
Oh, that got deep. We have to do less deep next time. All right, let's grab some water.
Yeah.